Great British Manufacturing Podcast, brought to you by MTD, MFG and Jefferson.
Hello and welcome to the Great British Manufacturing Podcast. On this week's podcast, we will discuss the positive news in the British manufacturing sector from the last 7 days. And welcome a special guest, who this week is Emrah Gozturk, CEO of Sterling Thermal Technology. Stuart, it's really good to be joining you this week, and what a week it is, isn't it? An abundance of positive news, so let's jump straight in. Bentley Motors have announced a major investment. We got wind of this last week, didn't we? But it's come to fruition. Brilliant.
Absolutely fantastic news. So Bentley is to build its first electric car at its Crewe plant, and this is part of a wider £2.5 billion investment programme. The investment, described as a major boost for the UK economy, secures Bentley's first step into electrification at the Cheshire site, where all the luxury car makers' models are built and 4,000 people work. So yeah, as you say, fantastic news.
And Rolls-Royce, they're planning on a new facility here in the UK. Is that as good as the headline would suggest?
Absolutely. This is Rolls-Royce's small modular reactor consortium. They're set to build a new £200 million factory in the UK. The group has approached several of England's regional development bodies and also the Welsh Government, asking them to pitch for the manufacturing sites. For those less familiar with the programme, the SMR programme is expected to create 40,000 British jobs. And the project secured almost £500 million in funding last year to develop a new generation of mini reactors. Great thing is 80% of the components will be made in factories across the UK.
Yep, fantastic. And positive news from our friends at Britishvolt again.
Yeah, they've secured more than £1.7 billion in funding from global investment company Aberdeen, Tritex and the government's Automotive Transformation Fund to build a new battery manufacturing plant in Northumberland, which we've obviously covered in previous podcasts. The Gigafactory, which is one of the UK's largest ever industrial developments, is expected to create 3,000 direct jobs and thousands more across the supply chain. And Britishvolt also, this week, they've signed a memorandum of understanding with Lotus to collaborate on the research and development of advanced EV technology for the firm. So lots going on.
Indeed, and Airbus have launched a global recruitment drive, and it's going to include a cohort in the UK, several cohorts possibly.
Yeah, we're still waiting for a few more details, which hopefully we'll be able to update people next week. So they've announced plans to recruit 6,000 extra staff across the world, with its Broughton and Filton sites expected to benefit, although an exact breakdown of where the roles will be created is yet to be confirmed. Last month, the aerospace manufacturer revealed that it delivered 611 commercial aircraft to 88 customers throughout 2021 and planned to ramp up production to meet this increasing global demand. So, yeah, good to see the aerospace sector making a comeback.
Yeah, incredible, isn't it? Incredible. Continuing on that aerospace theme, positive news as a whole for the world's aircraft manufacturers.
Yeah, global aircraft orders and deliveries are beginning to recover from the impact of the pandemic. The backlog of orders for aircraft currently stands at 12,989. And this potentially is worth £190 billion in economic value to the UK manufacturing sector in the coming years.
Wow, incredible. But let's take a short pause from this week's positive news. There's plenty more to follow in a minute, but I'd like to introduce this week's guest, Emrah Gozturk, the CEO of Sterling Thermal Technologies. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're more than welcome. To start with, we like to learn a bit about you as well as your company. So to start with, can we talk about your career to date and your current role and responsibilities, please?
Yeah, sure. I'm a originally Turkish person. Studied in engineering, mechanical engineering. Worked in stock-listed multinationals for about 16, 17 years. Mainly in food and beverage and applications around that kind of sectors at that time. And I relocated to UK almost 5 years ago. And here in the UK, I've done a technology startup for the first few years, and then started the role about 2 years ago from now with Sterling Thermal Technology. My role at Sterling, I'm the CEO of the business. So we are focusing on accelerating our customers' transition into zero carbon technology, zero carbon economy, with our heat exchanger technologies. And we are an engineer to order manufacturing business, which has a history of up to 100 years or more, actually. Quite a big chunk of our business is with large OEMs. So we export, pretty much quite more than half of our business is an export, I would say. We employ about 100 people across two sites that we have, one in Birmingham and one in Aylesbury, and quite a strong team in engineering side of the business, and obviously have suppliers and supply chain across the world.
No, fantastic, and thanks for joining us, Emrah, this morning. And just to illustrate what Sterling Thermal Technology do, are there any recent projects that you could share with us to better, give our listeners a better idea of the kind of projects and the type of sectors you work in?
Yeah, sure. We deal with mainly sectors like energy, power generation, defense, and industrial and chemical sectors. A lot of the projects we do specify on resolving a specific challenge for the customer. We are at the, let's say, high-end part of the market. We deal with projects like, I can give a few recent examples, as you say. Working on plastics recycling has been quite an interesting project that we've done last year, for example, where our customer is making a chemical recycling of waste plastics, making out of it feed for new plastic, as well as developing jet fuels and aviation fuels out of it. So on these kind of applications, the conditions of the process require quite a really high pressures and temperatures and so on, which gives us a demanding challenge to tackle from an engineering perspective. A lot of the products we do in these kind of sectors are, all of them are designed, engineered and designed to meet the strictest safety standards, as well as the challenging application. And we use quite a lot of times exotic materials that quite a lot of companies cannot form and change and so on. So that makes it quite unique from our end, where we deliver a cost-effective solution to our customer, but at the same time, something that they can get anywhere else. Some other recent projects, obviously the world is moving towards a zero-carbon economy. We see quite a lot of impact of it. For example, desalination of water for freshwater use, for human consumption, but also for agriculture is a big topic, big energy-consuming topic. We've been involved recently on a project for a solar water project where solar energy is used to create energy for the power-hungry desalination process, where our heat exchangers come into place, dealing with very aggressive materials that are used to transport the heat from the sun to the desalination plant. So that kind of projects are our specialty, where we engineer with our customer the solution together. Then we design the thermally, but also mechanically design the products. But then at the end of it, also manufacture and deliver to the highest quality standards. So that gives quite a good example of what we do. When you look at it, we work in energy and power generation. We work in defense. We are part of some major defense programs, but also we work quite a lot around circular economy. We work quite a lot around things like, for example, organic Rankine cycle kind of applications, where geothermal energy is used quite a lot. So we are actually part of that transition that is happening around us every day.
Yeah, fantastic. And as you say, gives us and our listeners a far better insight in terms of what you do there at Sterling. You touched on there about, zero carbon. Over the last 12 months, there's been a huge amount of publicity, noise, initiatives launched around sustainable manufacturing, renewable energy, carbon reduction. How important is it to you personally or as a company? And, what kind of trends and what opportunities are you seeing within those markets? And how's that, affecting, Sterling in terms of your marketing and so forth?
Practically, I'm a father, so I want to leave my daughter, but also her children in the future. I hope a better world in that sense, personally, and I think it is important for us to keep that in mind when we are thinking about the technologies and what we are doing today for the future generations. And I think it is at the heart of our transformation here at Sterling as well. When you look at it, quite a lot of times there are some let's say trade-offs when you're designing a product from an engineering perspective, where our approach is to take the perspective that is most beneficial for the future generations to operate. A lot of the products we design, I mean, sometimes they go up to having a design life of up to 60 years or so. So our products will be used, and being a company that is over 100 years old, you can imagine we have quite a strong installed base across the world, where our products are used over and over for long times. And one of the things that we concentrate on, that longevity, is that I mean, every time when you manufacture a new product, obviously you're utilizing some resources, you have an impact on the environment, whether you want it or not. And our way of looking at it is, first of all, to design things and work in sectors where we are contributing to our customers to reduce their impact on the environment, but also deliver products that are having the longevity, so that a repeated manufacturing impact of these products is not gonna come in a short time. So that's where we are, let's say, focusing on our quality, focusing on our design and the longevity of our products, to make sure that the impact that anything we do is at minimum to the environment.
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't put it better myself. We need to leave the world in a better position than we found it, don't we? So, yeah, fantastic insight. The next one, slightly controversial. I want to know your general thoughts about Brexit.
I think, I mean, I'm personally, I worked all my life in an international career. I'm a migrant in the UK personally, but I think, and I think we should generally embrace the fact that I mean, countries need to get well with their neighbors and work in cooperation. That's my take on generally the things. Having said that, I mean, Brexit obviously takes a different angle on how the trade relations between the countries work, how the legal frameworks around things are. But it doesn't impact, let's say, the way we are working with our clients. I mean, as I said, more than half of our businesses is abroad. Quite a big chunk of it is in European Union. With our European Union clients, partners, suppliers, and so on, we continue to work as before Brexit. There was a little bit of, let's say, I wouldn't say confusion, but I think there was a little bit of understanding the new set of rules at the beginning when everything came into force. But from our business's perspective, we continue to do business as normal. I mean, I think it had very minor impact on the way we do things on that sense. The international standards and the way we build and design products haven't changed based on Brexit. So in that sense, I think it's important to keep in mind that yes, Brexit is a big word, but for especially engineering businesses, I think it is important that we are having long established customer relationships and long established products that are solving customers' problems. Then the borders don't mean much. I mean, we have products today from Asia to North America, from Europe to Latin America, all around the world. Some of them are floating on the water that we don't know where they are a lot of times. So I think it's the impact of Brexit. I think probably COVID has been a bigger impact on every business than Brexit itself. When you look at engineering and manufacturing sectors, some of the supply chain disruption and challenges that we have seen at the beginning of Brexit process have now calmed down. I think the bigger supply chain disruption is caused by issues around COVID and its inflationary impacts and impacts of freight and so on across the world. But it seems to be that we are coping quite well with it. I think looking forward, obviously some of the benefits and some of the let's say trade relationships that UK aspires to develop beyond Brexit needs to be materialized so that we can benefit from it in a better way. And I think that is the area that needs to be concentrated going forward.
Yeah, and just back about Sterling, really. What are your aspirations for the future? But I guess 2022 and beyond.
I mean, we are looking at I mean, first of all, 2022 started really strong for us. Our order book has been developing very, very positively within the last, let's say, 30 to 60 days. And especially looking forward, we are aiming for further growth and further internationalization of our business. I think the important point there is that a lot of our growth comes from renewables and that kind of sectors. Like when I compare it with just even like maybe 2-3 years ago, before the beginning of the pandemic, where probably our order book would have like something around 15 to 20% only on coming from renewables. This year, I think we're going to break above 40% on renewables. And our aspiration is to really have a majority of our business coming from renewable energy related topics, be it the grid that is required to support the developments on the renewable energy where our products go into, but also around directly the products that are going into renewable energy plants, be it wind farms, hydropower, and others themselves. I think when you look at it from the disruption that is happening around energy sector, disruption that is happening, the changing world is actually quite an advantage for a company like Sterling, because we have brilliant engineering teams. We've been investing a lot on our people to develop their skills, have a solid understanding of both thermal and mechanical engineering requirements for our business, which gives us a solid advantage when we are globally sitting down and engineering products to deliver in this kind of changing world. And when the world is changing, there's a lot of need for understanding the new conditions that is required, new challenges that our customers are facing with their processes or their products, and adopt or change or create new solutions for them. Some of the technologies we do, we are a specialized company on heat pipe technology, for example, where for the cooling work itself for let's say a power generator is reduced significantly. Like the energy demand is reduced significantly. It's a compact solution that requires almost no maintenance, and we see that kind of technologies breaking barriers into helping the customers on their applications, both in the transformation that is happening in the energy sector, but also around the things like data centers and the development that the digitalization is bringing. So I think it's quite an exciting world out there for us for growth prospects, where bespoke engineered products are highly required for us as a planet to be able to master that transition and change.
Yeah, fantastic. It sounds like you're going to have a good year and a great future there at Sterling Thermal Technology. Emrah, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. It's been an insight, a pleasure, and I appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Stuart, fascinating insight, isn't it? Fantastic interview again.
No, absolutely. We're very lucky to have some incredible guests on the podcast each and every week. And please contact us if you'd like to come on the show and talk about yourself and your company.
Yeah, couldn't put it better myself. If you want to join us on the podcast, email podcast@mtdmfg.com or just reach out to Stuart or I or any of our colleagues on social media. Great to have you on. Also, please download the MTD MFG app. As I always say, we don't get time to renew all the positive news on this week's show. It'd be pretty long if we did. So go to mtdmfg.com or better still, download the app. Back on with the news now. JLR have secured a lot of funding to accelerate its electric vehicle ambitions. There's been a lot of buzz on social media for this story. Some good and bad, to be honest. But what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you broke the story on your Swarf Guru account, Joe. And JLR, they've received a £500 million export development guarantee, which will support the research, development and export of battery electric vehicles. UK Export Finance has guaranteed 80% of a new £625 million loan from 12 commercial banks under its export development guarantee programme, which is designed to drive major investments into UK exporters. The loan will support JLR's plans to invest about £2.5 billion a year. That will increase to reach probably about £3 billion by March 2026 to increase the number of battery electric vehicles in its model lineup. And this is all under its reimagined strategy. So The potentially good news, I think people have made some comments about state aid and so forth, but JLR is Britain's biggest car manufacturer, so we've got to support them, is my view on it.
Yeah, I echo that, absolutely, for sure. India's OLA or OLA, they're set to build a new facility here in the UK. And I must admit, Stuart, before I saw your feed, I hadn't known, I wasn't aware of this company. So great news.
No, likewise, Joe. The electric vehicle manufacturer has announced plans to open a new £100 million global engineering and design centre in Coventry. It's expected to create 200 jobs. The Indian-owned firm's Future Foundry facility, as it will be called, will focus on both two-wheel and four-wheel vehicle design, modelling and development of new energy systems, including cell technologies. So another huge investment for the West Midlands.
Yeah, this next one, it's one of my personal favourites. The University of Wolverhampton Racing Team has secured a sponsorship boost. This is fantastic news for our good friends at UWR, Shane and Terry and their colleagues. I couldn't be happier for them. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, great news for, like you say, our friends and factory now members, UWR. They've secured £200,000 from local business, High Clear Investments, and this will allow the student-led race team to compete in a brand new motor racing championship this season. After a successful year of racing last year that saw UWR crowned Formula 3 Cup class champions, the team will now be competing in this year's Praga Cup, following a substantial investment in a new Praga car. So great news for them, the university and also the students.
Yeah, whilst we're on this automotive theme, there's been a couple of models launched by British supercar manufacturers, hasn't there? Some stunning cars.
Absolutely, unfortunately a podcast, but yeah, visually stunning, as you say. So Murray Automotive has unveiled the T33 model. This is powered by a Cosworth 3.9 litre V12 engine. And the great news is it'll be built at the legendary car designer's new £50 million global headquarters in Surrey. And the next one, this is from Noble Automotive, the Leicester-based car manufacturer. They've unveiled the twin turbocharged 3.5 litre Ford V6 engine powered M500. Testing is underway, and the first customer deliveries are set to start later on this year.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's good, isn't it? We've had, automotive, albeit with the supply chain issues, is on the up. Aerospace is most definitely on the up. And manufacturing as a whole must be on and up, because we've had some great news from the PMI and other indexes.
Yeah, absolutely. So British factory output grew for 20th consecutive month in January. The UK manufacturing PMI reading for the period was 57.3, well above the 50 mark that denotes growth. The report shows that while global supply chain disruption and worker shortages are still a concern, there was a welcome easing in logistics issues. So, yeah, as you say, good news this week for automotive, aerospace and the wider UK manufacturing sector.
Yeah, just good news after good news. There's actually a couple of things broke this morning we haven't got a chance to talk about, but you'll see that on MTDMFG.com, the app, or my account, or Stuart Jefferson's account. So yeah, please do follow us online. Stuart, a massive thank you to you. A massive thank you to Emrah Gozturk, the CEO of Sterling Thermal Technologies. It's been a great podcast, but as always, the biggest thank you goes to home for listening. We'll see you next week.
To the Great British Manufacturing Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a rating and a review. You can find us on Twitter using @MTDMFG and @Jefferson_MFG.